If we can control the head and shoulders, we can control the person. And that's the ultimate goal for any passer. The head and shoulders will be like the ultimate control, right? G2 teaches you how to mount someone with the head and on. All right, so we're gonna do G1. We're at 10th Planet headquarters. My name is Danny Gutierrez. I'm a 10th Planet black belt under Eddie Bravo, and so let's get to it. So we're going over top half, and now before we even get to this drill, I want to talk about why like this warm up is such a staple for us, because it's one of the positions like in all of jiu-jitsu that like is very dominant, super dominant. If like you want to almost guarantee a pass, G is like the way to go. Like if you had to choose a pattern of like getting really good at in long term, G is the way to go. Top half, G1, G2, G3, G4, all of the G's. Developing that game long term will be one of the best things you can do. So anyone that is thinking long term, one to get really good at is, I recommend G, just because you're coming to realize the more I do it, the more I realize the faster I can get to this position, the better it is, just in general. Head and arm, teaching it to everyone and doing it myself over the years has really taught me that it is such a dominant position, and to never underestimate how like efficient this move is, how efficient and high percentage this move is. Yeah, let's get right to it. So we start with a head and arm position. We have the underhook. We have the cross face, across. We focus on making sure our shoulder is under his chin. We never want to be like over his face. We're always trying to be under the chin. We can practice a simple grip right now, a gable, no fingers. It's all cupping. We don't squeeze. We like wide elbows, drive forward, and we focus on like keeping him flat. That's the essential position we're looking for. Now, his position from the bottom, he's in the lockdown position. He's has his overhook, and I'm looking to pass from this position while continuing driving forward. Now, regarding this position, I like to tell the students a lot that like you shouldn't rush this position. Like a lot of people have the need to rush this position, and this is what I mean by long term. A lot of people like rushing because they feel the need to, but like the higher you go up in like the scale of levels here, you'll come to realize you are taking your sweet time here. You are in no rush. You are taking his life little by little, his energy little by little, because he's in the need of understanding you are very close to passing his guard, and he can't afford to be here too long. So it's one of those things that you don't want to rush, but I understand if you want to get a lot of reps in, you will have to do it a little bit faster. But always understand when you actually do the roll, you will always take your sweet time. If you're ever sparring, you will take your sweet time here. Don't ever like think you need to rush. Eddie says this a lot. At the end of the day, if you only pass the guard throughout the whole roll, At the end, you just passed the guard. Now you did a great job. You did an amazing thing because the guy never stood a chance of ever recovering. So taking your sweet time into this will be very, very great. But for repping wise, there's no reason why you shouldn't try to do as many as you can to mimic the motion. But when rolling, always change the mentality. Now take your sweet time. All right. So now we are in a head and arm position. I'm closed. I'm driving forward. Now I will be using my left leg in this position to more get my hand, my leg, sorry, to staple the hip down and like push it downward. My goal now is to push this down. A lot of people just insert the leg, but they're not doing anything with it. I'm actually thinking about pushing it down. So I want you to picture I'm actually pinning this hip down with my butterfly. So when I pummel my leg, I'm actually thinking of placing it because I'm thinking of having and this type of mentality of like one shoulder's pinned on this side, one hip is pinned on this side. So I'm thinking the whole time he's pinned down and I'm taking my sweet time. Now on the head and arm, make sure we're positioned right, driving forward. We pummel the leg over, we staple the leg, we bend the other and drive the knee across. Get this leg out. Now we use this to break through, practice punching. Like have your partner hold on to your ankle. That way you get a practice of like kicking through. At the same time as you're kicking through, your leg is doing a ballerina type of effect where like it's going pointy. You want to mimic that motion of like taking it out and dropping and then guiding yourself to a nice perfect side control where your knee is so high up that you bring it past his temple. You don't want to go shallow on your perfect side control because then he'll always escape. You want to make sure you're super high up above, controlling past. So when you're holding, you want to practice getting all the way up here, bringing it up nice and high, controlling that arm, and even not have this arm in here. Make sure you get it like out of the way. So like I should have never allowed that arm to come through. So one more time.
Ich habe jetzt so nicht so sehr tonight. Die müssen da oben sich selber damit mit dem Mund da. Ist so nicht hier. And then put that down with the pop and no more.
And we practice going all the way to perfect side control. And that's like the beginning of the rep for like something that is you want to take your sweet time controlling, nice and slow, all the way, over and over. And at the end, like I said, perfect side control, emphasize on really escalating this arm high, never even allowing this frame to come in. Don't even allow it. Don't even let them get here. So one more time.
Das Gutierrez that is people good this not me.
All right, so we just passed the guard. We are in perfect side control, and we are gonna practice now transitioning from perfect side control to another dominant position, which is the head and armpit control in full mount. So we are in perfect side control, nice and strong. Our head is down. We are keeping nice and strong pressure. The knee is nice and high. We're aiming high, trying to aim even past the head sometimes. Like that, this is a really great angle. You don't want to go like way too below the shoulder line. Always remember that. We're nice and high. Head is nice and low. Now, in the drill, he's going to pummel his hand across my face. When he does that, that's a great opportunity for us to grab under the armpit, top of the head. We'll be removing our gable grip. So we're here. He's punching it in. At the same time, we're grabbing under the armpit, top of the head. Now we shift our weight forward and leaning like our chest towards his face, like face crushing. And we're driving this knee across the hip line. We're going all the way down, boom, nice and heavy, and then we drop double foot to practice a nice mimic. Now we insert our skydive hooks, happy skydiving, all having that nice head and armpit. One more time. We are in perfect side control. I'm gable gripped, nice and strong. He starts punching in the arm. We start grabbing under the armpit, top of the head. We shift our weight forward, putting our chest on top of his face. We start driving the knee across. Nice and heavy. Drop the whole foot. Insert our skydive, and we have control of head and arm fit. Our chin is driving up on top of the forearm, and we're controlling our nice and strong grip. Now, the emphasis, guys, is now to squeeze this. Keep this clinch going on together. We're driving forward. We're not just squeezing, we're also driving forward. We're keeping this clamp going, and we're like trying to keep them nice and boxed in while we drop our hips forward and skydive. Now, positionally, skydive and head and arm hit is an amazing position. We practice this position a lot, honestly, in all the 10 planet warm-ups throughout A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Almost has some kind of position where we end up there. We practice this position a lot because we've come to learn that it's one of the most positions where you have now the ability to submit him, and you can do a lot of awesome submissions from here. The drill is to really get good at controlling him, understand that people will start moving, and then you start drilling from that. We have a lot of drills. We do this on A4. When we get to head and armpit, we do our arm triangle sequence. In the A4 warm-up, we actually practice finishing from this position, the arm triangle. But throughout the 10 planet warm-up system, we will find ourselves in this position a lot, where either the person recovers, you transition to something else that's more favorable, you get swept. We have a lot of different life situations where like the warm-up changes in the favor of you or them. But A4 is the one drill, if you guys want to really get good at doing arm triangles, is to look it up and practice that specific pattern we specifically like to do. So in this particular drill, we've just practiced going to head and armpit and practice emphasizing the control. And then from here, we transition to something else where it goes back to his favor with your drill partner. So having a nice practice, taking it serious of going perfect side control to a nice perfect head and armpit will always be amazing. Whether it's short term or long term, you'll have great results because of how powerful this position is. In general, I like to emphasize that as soon as you feel like you have G1 down, start learning G2 and get good at that one, and do live drills from both of them a lot. If we can control the head and shoulders, we can control the person. And that's the ultimate goal for any passer. The head and shoulders will be like the ultimate control, right? If they're good, that's as good as it's going to get. If you're that much more amazing, that's why the dominator is there, right? But odds are, this is most of the time the one we want. That's why G1 is awesome. You're already there, and you develop that squeeze of understanding. We need to hold this and pummel through and pass your legs. G2 teaches you how to mount someone with the head and arm. G1 only taught us to go to side control, but it teaches us after this how to mount someone properly from perfect side control. And I think that's amazing. I'm a big fan of G. I'm a big fan of all the warm-ups, but
Danny G.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, and it shows us so much. G1 has a lot to offer. All of the G's, honestly. But G1, as soon as you feel you know that warm-up, start drilling G2. And everything, at the end of the day, when I think about like how I want to pass someone's guard, like my goal is everything is surrounded by like trying to get to those positions. If I can get a head and arm grip, like I hardly ever care how the legs are, My goal is not full guard though. Obviously, if it's full guard, then I can't do it. But like half guard, I'm pretty comfortable on the pass. If he has half a butterfly, I feel really good with my own butterfly from the top to be his. If he has me quarter clinch, I feel really great that I'm a pass. If he has me in Harley, maybe like traditional half position. Maybe he might have a nice little deep half, but like if he can't get under and have a great bite, man, it's hard. You come to realize the best guys are passing like that right now with that grip. Like they can't get out. Most people aren't passing right now. Like doing too many flashy things. Maybe flashy submissions for sure. Those will always be there, but flashy passing at high level is very hard. You got to get in there and become very good at controlling someone with head and shoulders, and transitioning from a dominant position to another. The G1 teaches you how to go from head and arm, past the guard to side control, perfect side control. And if you don't like perfect side control, you're like, cool, transition to another dominant position like head and armpit control. Like, man, what else do you want? Like you have another dominant position. You can make things happen now. You can take his back. You can arm triangle him. You can force him to give up the back. You can force him to give up a triangle because of how uncomfortable it is. You're resting on top of him, driving yourself into him. A lot of people don't realize when you like pass from this type of positions with these type of grips, you should always be pushing into the person. You should be thinking, if this was the ground, you're always pushing into the person. I'm always pushing, like I'm always like driving into them. Like the ground is my best friend, and he's pushing them to me, and I'm pushing him to them, and we're sandwiching them together. I'm not just holding you. Most people are holding the person. I'm actually thinking of pinning you to the ground, and the ground is doing the same to me, and that's a big deal. That's why like this drill is so awesome. You become very good at dominating one position to the another to another. It's three dominant positions back to back, and the guy is not standing a chance. It's amazing. It really is. That's really on my pursuit to the back. I always end up in like someone's half guard, and I've gotten really good at passing because my goal is still to take your back. I'm like, I'm gonna pass your guard. I'm willing to go to full side control, perfect, mount you, start trying to choke you with a head and arm triangle just so you can turn. And then now I'm finally happy that I did the one thing. But that whole sequence I ended up becoming very good at the arm triangle because like I was like turn, and they didn't never got to turn, and I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. I'm actually getting really good at the arm triangle because they're not turning. And people were starting to think they can take it, and then after a while it's just like, oh, I'm actually getting really good at like squeezing that, like developing that bite from the arm triangle. So like honestly, in your pursuit of wanting more, like I ended up getting a game that's like right in the middle. Playing a lot of top half, getting really good at mounting someone from it, and then developing an arm triangle from that, because I'm actually really good at just doing a basic traditional G1 warm up all the way, all the time, and then forcing people to like give up the back because no one wants to. I get a nice arm triangles bars. So I'm gonna recap really quickly the motions to remember. Make sure we got it down. Now the music. So we're in head and arm, and we're trapped in his lockdown, guys. So we're in half guard from the top half. Boom, head and armpit control. We're driving. Make sure, guys, your shoulder is always under the chin. Remember, it's always under here, keeping him from being able to shrug his shoulders and tucking his chin under. That's his goal. That's when we cover F. He's hiding it. When we're doing our G, we make sure we have our shoulders under. We're driving, wide elbows, gable grip, leaning forward, making sure we have nice pressure. We're pummeling our left leg over the top, pinning the hip down, passing, knee slicing to the other side, practicing three stomps. 1, 2, 3, all the way to a nice, and we practice getting all the way nice and high, all the way to perfect side control. Then he's gonna pummel his hand in front of me, and we practice getting right here. Boom. Grab under the armpit, top of the head, lean forward, put weight towards him, as we drive the knee across the belly, collapse, skydive, nice and head and armpit control. Then we're gonna release. He's gonna grab around my arm, upa me over. We end up in full guard. Once we have full guard, we're gonna practice our both arm bars. Grab the wrist, back of the tricep. Remember, we look like we're grabbing each other's tricep. That's how it should look like for drill purposes. We drive the elbow across the belly. As we're doing that motion, we grab across the other tricep. And remember, guys, Kazushi, we bring our knees to our chest, over our shoulder as we open the legs. Boom. Practice over the head. Boom. Practice nice arm bar. Make sure we have the wrist, thumb, and we drive it to the side of the hip. Then we go back to the other side. Do the same thing. Wrist, back of the tricep. We reach across. We bring our knees to our chest over the shoulder as we open the legs around. Trap. Control the head. Back of the arm fit, nice and tight. Pass it to the side of the hip. Grab the thumb. Boom. Nice arm bar. And then we come back in to full guard. And then we're going to switch. All right, ready? Go, guys. Hey guys, my name is Danny Gutierrez. We're at 10th Planet HQ in downtown LA, and we just went over G top half, G1 specifically. So we went over pre-stomp no hand pass to our knee on belly mount to a head and armpit control, and that's where we are.
How old are you?
17.
How much do you weigh?
1.7.
Can you hang in here? Can you hang?
I'm barely hanging in there.
And you know what? Every day you're growing a little bit. Every day before you know it. But he's gonna be like this. I'm gonna stand right here. One ear.
Derek.